Well, congratulations if you have an accepted offer. That's exciting. And of course, the journey is not over yet. If you did write an offer with terms and conditions, now we need to satisfy those conditions. This is another crucial step in the journey to buying a property. Let's say, for example, you have a home inspection condition. I want to make something really clear to you. A condition, if it's not waived or satisfied, it collapses the transaction. So any deposit that you've given, that deposit does stay in trust. The brokerage holding that deposit must return it to you. So that's a bit of a relief. It really gives you a chance to do your due diligence. And the condition is for your benefit. So let's say you have a financing condition and the terms and interest rate of the mortgage you found out were higher than maybe you originally had thought. And now you're looking at the monthly payments and realize this might be too high. Well, that's a legitimate reason to be able to walk away. You actually don't have to give the seller a reason for not satisfying a condition. You can just simply say, I'm sending over a document. It's called a notice of non-waiver, and that non-waiver is giving them notice that you're not waiving your financing condition. And like I said, it doesn't matter what your reasons are. That's just what you can do. Same with the inspection. If you look at the inspection, you don't have to justify, if there was things wrong at the property. If you find something in that inspection that's not comfortable for you, you can walk away from the transaction. And for us, we support that. Inspections are there to be sure that you are comfortable with what you're seeing. But I want to point something out. If you're buying a resale home, I can tell you, hands down, there's always going to be some issues. In fact, we even do inspections on brand new properties, which, by the way, if you decide to work with a builder, you really should work with us too. A lot of times people don't think to do that, but boy, we can certainly save you some headache when it comes to working with builders, and that includes doing an inspection on a brand new home. I have seen brand new homes missing insulation on an exterior wall. I've seen HVAC not hook up to the bedroom. Builders do make mistakes, but on resale home, we often see issues. I mean, the inspector is there to point out to you things that you should be aware of, and it's just common to see a whole host of small items that should be addressed. Many of them often don't have to be addressed right away, but over the next 12 months, you should address them. And that's something that's part of the home inspection. It's almost like having, a guideline for how to maintain the home after you move in. And so that's part of what you want to do. If you're looking at condominium documents, the biggest thing that we're trying to look at there is in the condo documents, are they showing that there's potential for a large special assessment? Now, a special assessment means that the building needs some work done, and the condo board has decided to assess to pay for it. Sometimes they use money in the reserve fund. Sometimes it's a combination of using the reserve fund money and sending out an assessment to all of the owners in the complex. And you should understand something. If the board decides to do an assessment and you are an owner in that complex, you are required to comply. There is no way around that. You have to comply. The Condominium Property Act of Alberta, it gives the power to boards to even borrow against your property if they need to. So this is why the condominium document review is really critical. There's some really good condominiums in and around the Calgary area that I would recommend being a part of. But I have also seen some really bad condominiums. I've seen situations where there was $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 special assessments for people after they move in. That would be a horrific thing. But the good news is, when you really look carefully at those condominium documents with a professional, they will be able to tell that there's an issue coming. But one thing I want to make clear, you are taking on some risk when it comes to buying real estate. Just because you have an inspection doesn't mean something still couldn't break after you move in. It doesn't mean that the condominium board discovered that there's a problem with the roof 3 months after you moved in that was not detected at the time that we did the condominium document review. These things can happen. So we're here to work with people to reduce the risk. We just can't eliminate it. But the people that are on our team, these are the hand-picked professionals that you can use if you like. We'll recommend them to you. You can still choose to use whoever you would prefer, but this is why it's so important that our service providers are hand-picked, because we want to ensure, what I said earlier in the previous video, We don't want you moving in and finding out that there's a surprise negatively about the property. We want to be sure that we've been able to identify anything that might affect your decision to buy the property. Now, typically for conditions, depending on the market, when it's a seller's market, number one, sellers don't like conditions in the seller's market, but if they do accept offers with conditions, they want the conditions to be relatively quick. So, they could be anywhere from 3 days to a couple of weeks. And oftentimes mortgage people will say, oh, put 2 weeks on the contract. But I can tell you, if you have provided your proof of income and the lender already has that and the credit score has been done, it does not take 2 weeks to get financed. It will take a matter of days to get that done. That's why, again, it's so critical to have that letter from the lender. This is all part of making a strong offer and being able to satisfy conditions quickly. Now, as all these videos I'm doing, there can be a lot of questions around this. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have a lot of experience with satisfying conditions, and I can give you some good guidance on